We are in the dead heat of spring and USC sports are firing on all cylinders toward the finish line.
From the latest news on the hardwood to the recent standouts in the pool, and top-ranked tennis star Nick Krystal joins me in studio. This show is jam-packed.
Sports Scene starts right now. Welcome to the Annenberg Media Center. I'm Paolo Uggetti.
And I'm Keely. We have a lot for you this show, so let's get right into it. The USC women's water polo team is currently ranked #1 in the nation and remain undefeated with just 4 games left in the regular season.
The women have dominated every team they faced, outscoring their opponents 214 goals to only 77 in the 17 games they've had. On the other side of the pool, all 3 of the team's goalies have shut down offenses, allowing less than 5 goals a game. Sophomore Haley McKelvey knows that being #1 in the nation is no easy task.
It's a great feeling. It's just so nice to see that all your hard work from last semester all the way up until now, all that swimming, all that weightlifting, all of that comes together, and when you put it together and you work as a team, it comes through.
You know, a big reason this team has been so successful is because of their stellar duo, the Haralabitas twins. Our own Angel Vizcarra dubbed them the Splash Sisters. What have the Splash Sisters been able to do so far that's been so crucial?
Basically scoring. They can score whenever they want to. They've been racking up a combined 77 goals between them. Stephanie Haralabitas, she's especially dominant. She's scored in every single game this season, and they're twins, so they do everything in bunches.
Of course.
Combined, they have 22 multi-goal games.
Wow, it's a lot of goals and a lot of games.
That is.
The Splash Sisters will definitely be called on to perform once again this week when UC takes on rival and second-ranked UCLA on Saturday for the 3rd time this season. It's been a Bruin beatdown so far as the women of Troy have handed UCLA its only 2 losses of the season. One thing that is clear is that when the women of Troy face the Lady Bruins, the margin for error is much, much smaller.
Exactly. USC has made a big habit of dominating their opponents this season, but against UCLA, they've had 2 close matches, edging them out 8-6 and 10-7. So that's something you would expect when the #1 team and the #2 team face each other. But the real question is, do you think USC will pull out the full sweep, or will they drop this game?
Well, there's no doubt USC is going to need a huge contribution from the Haralabitas twins once again. But it will also be complementary players like Brigitta Games and Avery Peterson, who both have nearly 30 goals on the season, for them to step up. And not only that, but in the back, whichever goalie starts the match, whether it's Brazilian star Victoria Chamorro or Amanda Longan, keeping the Lady Bruins under double digits for as far as goals goes will be a major key.
That's right. And while the team is excited to face their rival, their sights are set higher.
I'm pumped. I wanna win, and we as a team are not gonna stop until we get there, and nothing's gonna stop us. And us being ranked #1 does not mean anything because we have NC2As, we have MPSF. #1 means nothing so far.
Before they head to the postseason, however, the women of Troy have upcoming matches against top-ranked teams like Stanford and Cal.
USC has already faced Stanford once this season. The match provided the closest contest the women of Troy have had to date. It was only a 7-6 score that they were able to edge out the Cardinal.
Yeah, that's right. And if they can get through the season without a loss, they'll be heading into the postseason with an undefeated record and a lot of pressure to win the national championship.
The women of Troy will be looking for a redemption of sorts, as last year's squad was only able to make it to the Final Four, having lost in the semifinals. But first, they have to take care of the Bruins at home on Saturday.
The #9 USC men's tennis team is on a hot streak, largely due to the play of the man sitting next to me, Nick Krystal. Thanks for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
So let's start off first with your last match. You were down multiple times in the match. You got cramps in your legs, but you still pulled out and got the victory. How did that go?
Yeah, I was definitely hurting a lot, but had a lot of support from the fans, and the rest of the team was rallying behind me, and I just wanted to get another win for us.
Yeah, in the game of tennis, how much of it is a physical battle and a mental battle?
I'd say a lot of it's mental. Physical when it's hot out and there's tough conditions, it's definitely physical, but a lot of it's mental. So it was definitely both going back and forth.
So for you, you're on a hot streak too. You've won the last 8 of your matches. What has been the strength for you? Why do you think you've been doing this so well?
I largely just my coaches and getting me ready for every match, and just practicing hard and working on a lot of the things that I wasn't doing well in the beginning of the season.
What were some of the things you weren't doing well?
I think I was just thinking too much out there and trying to be perfect, and I think just trying too hard actually.
Yeah, so that mental part plays up again. But speaking of your coach, Peter Smith, he's a highly decorated coach. What's it like playing for him?
It's an honor. He's definitely one of the greatest college coaches of all time. He's won 5 national championships in the last 8 years or 7, so it's an honor. I've got to be one of the luckiest college athletes out there.
Yes, you mentioned the 5 national championships. Is that something does that put pressure on the team or you as an individual to keep that going or have that mentality?
No, I think it just fuels us. We want to get another one for him and for us and for the school, really.
Yeah, and the team is now 13-4 overall. What has been the key to the success of the team?
I think it's just been everyone's just stepping up and knowing their roles. We have a young team, and our coaches are doing a really good job in making sure we're focused every week and not getting ahead of ourselves.
And you've been leading the team. So when you're on the court, what do you think is your biggest strength? What are you the most confident about?
I get pretty fired up, and I don't know. I just like to go out there and compete and fight, and I like to win, definitely.
And depending on how the team does this weekend, you might play UCLA in the Pac-12 championship. What is the team's mindset going into that?
Yeah, I mean, we have 2 tough matches this weekend. We go to Utah and Arizona, so we got to handle them first, and then hopefully play for a regular season Pac-12 championship at home, and that's obviously a goal. And I think our main goal is obviously in May at NCAAs, but it would be a nice thing to do.
Yeah. So how far do you think this team can go?
I mean, I think we can definitely win this year. We have a lot of potential. It's just if we can put it together at the right time.
And your legacy, your Trojan legacy, you have a long line of family members who go here.
Yeah.
What is that for you to continue that legacy?
I mean, it's pretty cool. I'm 4th generation. My great-grandfather played tennis here in 1912. He graduated.
Wow.
So it's pretty unbelievable, but it's it's definitely super cool.
And your family played tennis too, so how's that for you continuing that as well?
Yeah, both my brother and sister played college tennis, and so it's definitely cool to play, be the last one in the family to play and just have them watch and my parents, it's pretty nice.
Yeah. Okay, last question for you. If you had to go against any professional tennis player, who would you go up against?
I have obviously Federer and Nadal. They're 2 of the greatest players of all time. I don't think it would go too well for me, but it'd be a pretty cool experience.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Basketball season may be a thing of the past, but the game on the hardwood is also getting heated in the offseason. Here with me to talk about all things USC basketball in the latest week is Jackson Safon. Thanks for joining me, Jackson.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so season ended, but there's been a lot of other things that are happening. The offseason is getting really filled up with news. Take me through the timeline of what's been going on with UC basketball.
Well, it was definitely a wild week. Starting on March 23rd, the news broke that Darreus Clark and Malik Martin, 2 role-playing bigs, were going to transfer from USC. Those guys didn't have huge contributions, but it's obviously not good to see that depth being lost. Then a few days later, Coach Andy Enfield was reported that he's going to get a 2-year extension, so he's going to be the head coach under contract for USC all the way through the 2020-2021 season. And on that same day, it was reported that wing player Kaiten Reinhardt is going to be transferring as well. Obviously a big loss, big-time scorer for USC. And just a couple days after that, assistant coach Kevin Norris, who came with Andy Enfield from Florida Gulf Coast, reported he's leaving to be an assistant coach at UCF. And finally, the cherry on top, Julian Jacobs, star guard, first team all-conference player, is going to be leaving for the NBA draft. And the key with that, with the new rules, he's allowed to come back to school, go through the NBA draft process and see where he's projected to go. And as long as he doesn't hire an agent, he can still return back to school. So we'll see how that plays out.
All right, let's take this one by one. First of all, the transfers. The guys who are leaving, Darreus Clark and Kaiten Reinhardt, I think, are the biggest names leaving the team. What does it mean for the team specifically that they're leaving, and going into next season, how big is their loss?
Well, Darreus, I mean, he wasn't a star player, but when he was out with a shoulder injury this season, the team struggled, and you saw it on the court. They lacked the toughness and they lacked the rebounding. Reinhardt, not as important as he was 2 seasons ago, but he's a double-digit scorer for USC. So him along with Julian Jacobs leaving, I mean, that's 2 double-figure scorers, and you need the new recruits, I think, to help pick up that slack. You got D'Anthony Melton and Jonah Matthews, 2 guards coming in. We're going to need to step up big, especially if Jacobs does go to the NBA draft. You're going to have lack of ball handling.
Exactly, and there's also rumors of possible transfers coming in. We'll see how that develops and see who Enfield can bring in from a transfer standpoint. But speaking of Enfield, extension. Going into the season, there was a lot of pressure on him to win. He obviously delivered with a season that went beyond expectations. What does this extension mean for him and for the program going forward?
I mean, 21-13 this year. He said it was going to be a process, and it has been, but it's paid off. After getting their first 20-win season in several years for the USC basketball program is obviously huge. It's good for him to have that job security, and I mean, he's done a good job. He's proved he can recruit in Los Angeles, getting Boatwright and Metu last season, as well as Matthews and Melton this year. So, I mean, he's done a good job so far at USC. The process is working so far.
All right, so last thing. Do you think Julian Jacobs, obviously you mentioned how he still has not hired an agent, so he can't come back because of the new rules. What do you think happens with him?
Well, my guess is he's projected as a early, mid-second round pick, and if that's the case, and it remains the case, I would expect him to come back. I think he has NBA athleticism, but he needs to work on his jump shot and his decision-making before he really can make the leap to the NBA. So if I had to guess, I would say he does return to USC.
All right, well, this season has undoubtedly vaulted the Trojans to new heights and greater expectations. In fact, the earliest preseason polls have them in the top 15 for next year. So get ready, people. The USC basketball hype has officially begun.
Welcome to Ask an Athlete. I'm Jacqueline Baltz here at spring football practice with wide receiver Darreus Rogers. I have 60 seconds to ask Darreus as many questions as possible. Alrighty, you ready?
Yep.
All right, what's your go-to pump-up song before games?
Geeked Up.
Nice, I like that. Who's the biggest drama queen on the team?
Biggest drama queen, I would have to say Juju Smith.
Huge surprise. Okay, celebrity crush.
I would have celebrity crush, probably Selena Gomez.
Same, definitely girl crush. Okay, if you were to have your own reality show, what would be the name?
The Life of D-Raj.
Favorite emoji to use?
The eyes.
Same. Okay, what is your favorite thing to do on game day?
Favorite thing to do on game day, sleep.
Go-to dance move?
Go-to dance move would be probably the Dougie.
Can we get a little reenactment of the Dougie?
Oh yeah, like this, hit the Dougie.
I like it. Definitely better than me. Okay, favorite Halloween candy?
Favorite Halloween candy would be Snickers, but it has to be frozen.
Okay, great choice. LeBron or Kobe Bryant?
Kobe Bryant all day.
J-Lo or Beyonce?
J-Lo. Oh, wait, J-Lo's my celebrity crush. I take it back.
Okay, that's all we have time for today. Thank you, Darreus. Back to you guys.
The #1 ranked USC women's golf team has been on fire this season, and I'm here to tell you everything you need to know regarding your Women of Troy. The ladies are coming off a third-place win at the Liz Murphy Invitational, where USC beat Northwestern and the University of Georgia, but lost in a tiebreaker to UCLA. This third-place trophy can be put on the shelf with the other 5 podium finishes by the team this season. These wins are thanks to the team's top 6 players: Robin Rhee, Karen Chung, Tiffany Chan, Gabriella Then, Kyung Kim, and Amy Lee. This is one of the deepest teams USC has seen in its history, with the top 6 players all averaging between 71 and 74 strokes per round. They also all hold their lowest rounds in the mid to high 60s. A large factor in the success of this team is their experience. 4 of the top 6 are upperclassmen, leaving out sophomore Amy Lee and freshman Robin Rhee, who both seem to be transitioning quite well from high school to the collegiate level. Rhee has played in 7 tourneys this season, 5 of which she has placed in the top 10. Now as a whole, USC has recorded wins against 24 of the top 25 teams in the nation just this season. These impressive stats should come as no surprise to USC fans, seeing as the women's golf program has placed first or second in the NCAA tournament 6 times over the past 10 years. The ladies expect this year to be no different, and we'll see just how clutch they truly are at the Pac-12 championships in a few weeks.
Belly flops hurt, but when they're for a good cause, totally worth it. Every spring, USC athletes take the plunge to raise money for physically challenged athletes like Jennifer McCaulson.
My favorite part about the event is the belly flop contest and getting to pet the horse, Traveler.
She's been unable to walk since high school when she injured her spine in a cheerleading accident.
I didn't really see any value in myself, but people at Swim with Mike did, and so because of them I got to attend USC, and it's like a dream come true, and it's totally changed my world and like opened so many doors and kind of like helped me find my passion again.
She's one of 180 Swim with Mike scholarship recipients from 91 schools in 60 different sports. The event is a day full of family fun, a belly flop contest, a silent auction, and lots of Trojan spirit. USC football players teamed up with song girls in an inner tube relay, and many athletes took pictures with the USC mascot Traveler.
I thought it was a really cool fundraiser. It was really fun. It seemed like a family affair. Like everyone came and got involved.
In the 36 years that Swim with Mike has been doing this event, they have raised almost $17 million, but they're not quite there yet. If you want to help Swim with Mike achieve their goals, you can text SWIM to 41444.
This year, the organization has raised over $1 million, and everybody was excited about that. Some football players showed off their diving board skills after the event, proving that football isn't the only thing they're good at. Reporting for Annenberg Media, I'm Paige Parker.
USC Baseball has lost 5 of their last 7 games and are 2 games below 500 for the second time this year. Here to help me break down what has gone wrong for the Trojans is Alexa Palermo. Thanks for joining me, Alexa.
Thanks for having me, Keely.
So the Trojans have struggled both on the mound and behind the plate. What have they done? What has been going wrong for them this season?
Well, Keely, in the last 7 games, the Trojans have been 2-5, which is really not where they want to be. There are 2 main reasons as to why they're doing so badly right now. The first is that they give up the lead. Most recently against Stanford, they were the first on the board, but Stanford came back and hit them hard with 8 unanswered runs, giving them the loss. The second and arguably more pressing problem is that they leave men on base. In the last 26 games that they have played, they have left 218 guys on base, which is a little over 8 guys a game. More specifically, in the last 7 games, they have left 49 guys on base, which is 49 runs that they really desperately needed. So if they want to improve in the upcoming games, they really need to fix this problem.
Yeah, for sure. You can't win if you're not bringing runs in. But some guys have been standing out for the Trojans. Who have been stepping up during this kind of slump?
Yeah, well, Timmy Robinson and AJ Ramirez have really been the shining light in the lineup right now. So Timmy Robinson has started off slow, but he really came back and is doing really, really well. Last week he was Pac-12 Player of the Week and got 5 RBIs against UCSB, which clinched them the win. AJ Ramirez, AJ is a really good power hitter. He tied for 2nd in the conference with 21 RBIs, and Timmy's not far behind him with 20. So this duo is really dynamite and can really help the Trojans improve in the upcoming games.
Yeah, Timmy and AJ are getting it done for the Trojans. Along with him is David Oppenheim. He's 3rd in the Pac-12 with batting average, so he's been getting it done. But if they're 2 games below 500, obviously some players aren't getting it done. Who are some of those guys?
Well, there were 2 guys that were expected to be shining stars that have somewhat fizzled out. Reggie Southhold led off in battings at the beginning of the season, but has since dropped to the bottom. Last season, he had a 400 batting average, but we haven't seen any of that strength this season. Lars Nootbaar is actually the opposite. He started off the season with a winning game walk-off against Oklahoma, but since then we haven't seen any of that. But he is a freshman, so I'm not really worried, and I think we'll see more of him in the future.
Yeah, and what's bad is Reggie and Lars, they're also at the top of the lineup. And then when the guys at the top aren't getting it done, you can't spark the offense. It's a downward spiral. But the Trojans look to right the ship tonight against Pepperdine before a weekend series against Utah. For a recap of the USC men's volleyball season, let's throw it over to Jody.
Thanks, Keely. The USC men's volleyball team has had a roller coaster ride of a season. With a record of 7-17 overall and an MPSF record of 5-15, it would be an understatement to say that they didn't play to their potential. Let's take a look at how the Trojans compared to their opponents this season. While USC didn't put up terrible offensive numbers, their opponents still outperformed them in both kills and hitting percentage. Serving has been something that head coach Jeff Nygaard pushed all season, but despite that focus, their opponents still outaced them 114-86. Blocking was a huge weakness for the team this season as well. Just look at the difference between their opponents. That's almost a 100 block deficit. Inconsistency was a common thread for the team this season. For the most part, they struggled to find their rhythm. In their 24 matches so far, the team has used 15 different starting lineups, rotating in a total of 15 different starters. Part of these changes came from the team's inability to find a consistent on-the-court leader. When it came to winning matches, USC was 1 for 8 in 4-set matches. Throughout the season, USC only won 9 first sets. They also started 0-6 overall, making it the program's worst overall start since the 1970 season. Despite all of the negatives, there were some bright spots this season. Junior outside hitter Lucas Eure led the team with 265 kills. After not playing last season, Eure came back with a renewed attitude and found his rhythm back on the court. Senior outside hitter Alex Slott was 2nd on the team with 199 kills, rounding out a solid senior campaign. Sophomore opposite John Rivera was 3rd on the team with 166 kills. Rivera really broke out this season when he set a career high of 23 kills against Pepperdine in the team's first win in late January.
Everything we've done this year is helping us transition for next year, and regardless of what's happening, it's always going to transition for the next year.
In all of the turmoil this season, Nygaard is confident that the Trojans will come back stronger next season. With 4 graduating seniors, the team will lose starters, but they will retain a youthful core that can only grow and improve. The Trojans will close out their regular season as they head out to Utah to take on #1 BYU this Friday and Saturday. Now let's toss it back to our anchors to see what's going on in social media.
Thanks, Jody. And now for this week's special social media segment of the week.
We're sending it out to a land far, far away to our international correspondent, Connor McGlynn.
Thanks, Paolo. That's right. The best part about social media is being able to feel connected no matter where you are in the world. So I'm here at Queen's Wharf in Auckland, New Zealand, ready to bring you the best tweets from the USC community this week. So last week, the men's basketball program lost a few key players before shooting guard Elijah Stewart took to Twitter asking whether he should drop a bomb of his own. Stewart then followed up that tweet with this mysterious one that both hated on April Fool's Day and left Trojan fans a little bit more confused before going completely radio silent. Why did Stewart need to quote himself? What did he want to say? We just don't know. Then one guy who's not afraid to drop some Twitter bombs on April Fool's Day is USCFootball.com publisher and sports scene friend Ryan Abraham, who let out this news that Will Ferrell is gathering some heat in his campaign to replace Pat Hayden as USC's new athletic director. I guess after his time serving as a student in the SID department, Ferrell was sick and tired of just being the other guy. And finally, the number 7 USC women's lacrosse team got a few laughs of their own in when they ordered some pizzas to be delivered to the practice field to surprise Coach Monday. I guess after serving up all those dominating wins, what's another piece of za? So that's all I got here from the city of Sales. Back to you, Keely and Paolo.
Thanks, Connor. Hey, Paolo, you know what April means? Baseball is back.
That's right, there are not just 1, not 2, but 3 former Trojans who made MLB rosters this year.
But not just any MLB rosters, but World Series rosters. Pitcher Ian Kennedy joined the Kansas City Royals this offseason and is making his first start today. And first baseman Lucas Duda returns as a member of the New York Mets.
Don't forget about Brad Boxberger either. Despite his injury, the dynamic relief pitcher is set to return to the Tampa Bay Rays around mid-May. Certainly got to keep an eye on those Trojans in the big leagues, but what are you looking forward to the most this MLB season?
I got to go with my Angels, Mike Trout. I think we're going to make it to the postseason. Maybe World Series?
Wow, bold. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the Red Sox season, obviously. David Ortiz, Big Papi. Final season, ready to see how he goes out, hopefully with a World Series title. But, also, speaking of the Red Sox, got fellow Red Sox fan and associate producer Jackson Safon. We want to give a shout out to him. It's his birthday. So happy birthday to Jackson, and happy birthday to other April birthdays.
Connor McGlynn, our foreign correspondent. Happy birthday to you.
And Keely Eure, this is her birthday a few days ago, so happy birthday to her.
Thank you. That's all we have for our show this week. Be sure to tune in next week as we preview the USC football spring game.
And be sure to follow us on Twitter at SportsSceneUSC, like us on Facebook, and check out the new website, annenbergmedia.com. We'll see you next week.